Hey there guys, DMO73 bringing you the first deck profile of the day. This is the Down the Rabbit Hole Alice control that my buddy Henry Vaughn sent me, and I made a couple quick changes to. So let's go ahead and just dig right in. So our ruler is Alice in Wonderland. She has very interesting J-activate in the fact that you can pay any number of will above 0 to J-activate her, and then she flips. She becomes Alice, the drifter in the world. And so then what happens... Excuse me. What happens there is based on what attribute you paid, she gets different effects. So if you paid a light will, you gain 1,000 life. If you paid a water will, you draw a card. If you pay a darkness will, your opponent discards a card. If you pay a fire, you deal 1,000 damage to a target Resonator. If you paid a green, you destroy one addition. And if you pay one of every single will, including a will from Moojdart, then you get flying and swiftness until the end of the turn when she enters. The big thing to note is you don't get multiple of each effects. So like if you pay 2 light, you're still only going to gain 1,000 life. That's really important to remember. It's really, really cool the fact that you should have this kind of variety. So if you J-activate early, you can still get some powerful hits. Or if you J-activate later, you can get a lot of effects all at once. Really, really unique idea for a ruler. So let's go ahead and dig into our Resonator lineup. We run 4 Mad Hatter. Just a quick one drop 300, but he has the awakening of pay an extra water to draw a card when he enters the field. So it kind of helps speed the deck up a little bit as well as put a body on board, so pretty cool. Then only 2 March Hare. This was to kind of go along with the whole Alice in Wonderland theme. Primarily, you have a lot of even cards in the deck, so that's why we only play 2 as opposed to like 4, like some other decks would play, because there are going to be times where you know you're going to have an even card on top of the deck and you don't want to worry about it. But if you can set up the even calls a lot, or the odd calls a lot with him, with the other cards in the deck, it's really, really good. Then we run the 4 Cheshire Cats. Again, going along with the Alice in Wonderland, as well as to help set up our odd plays with March Hare and Dreams of Wonderland. Just draw 2, search whatever card, search the top 2, set an odd card back from your hand on top of the deck, then swing in with March Hare, trigger your Dreams of Wonderland, and make sure they go off. Then we run 3 Laplacia, the Demon of Fate. This is because we want to get, the whole idea of the deck is to kind of force your opponent to never really know what's coming next for them. And so Laplacia, the Demon of Fate helps to do that because you get to reveal the top card of your opponent's deck permanently when he's on the board, and you can tap him to mill the top card of both players' decks, and then you yourself can always look at the top card of your own deck at any point in time. So it gives a lot of information to you and puts your opponent in this kind of state of like, I don't really know exactly what I'm going to be dealing with or what I'm going to draw into next, which is really powerful when you get them into a state where they're just top decking. When they only are going to be drawing into 1 card, it can be really, really powerful. Then we run a couple of 0 the Magus of Null, just for some kind of, again, that kind of idea of come out of nowhere, able to do small board wipes, all kinds of stuff. It just kind of fits in with that whole idea of your opponent never really knows exactly what's going on, always keeping them off pace, off guard, and 0 really helps to do that. And then of course Alice, the Guardian of Dimensions, because she serves as some spot removal as well as primarily for that hexproof, being able to keep a lot of your guys protected, like Mephistopheles or your Laplacia especially. Like she protects Laplacia a lot because you want to make sure that Laplacia stays on board as long as possible, especially if you have multiple of them. So that's really good. And then 3 Mephistopheles, the Abyssal Tyrant, because the deck is primarily darkness, so he becomes kind of your heavy hitter and your kind of like finale. 1500 target attacker with flying, causes a lot of damage, and with Cheshire Cat, a lot of kind of smaller drops, it's really not a huge deal to have to sacrifice things. So yeah, that's that. Moving on to the spell lineup, we run 4 Thunder and 4 Dreams of Wonderland for kind of spot removal, as well as some burn damage for Thunder. This is just our cheap spot, trying to take care of a situation, deal with a blocker, deal with an attacker we can't get over, deal with a blazer in the case of Dreams of Wonderland. So that's pretty good. And we run 4 Spiral of Despair to kind of force our opponent to get into that top deck mode. Really, really powerful card right now. I think there's a lot of control decks out there, and so the ability to just force them to go down to 0 cards can be really, really effective, especially when they're spending all their time worrying about trying to get like Elvish Priests and stuff on board to ramp up their mana. You can just say, oh cool, since you're not drawing cards, Spiral of Despair, and just put them into a top deck mode where having all that mana doesn't really help them. And then for our removal, we run 2 Stoning to Death, 4 Flames of Outerworld. I think Flames of Outerworld right now is just a better card than Stoning to Death, but I still like having Stoning because Flames can't kill stuff like Splacer or Mephistopheles. So Flames of Outerworld, really, really good card right now just because it's unchaseable, it kills a lot of stuff. Not very much stuff is more than 800 except for things like Blazer, so Flames of Outerworld I think is really good, especially from the fact that it can't be countered. So really, really good. And then Stoning to Death is just for those things that Flames can't deal with. And then trade 2 Dreams of Juliet to serve as Blink, to serve as Addition Hate, to serve as Draw Power. All 3 of those things get used in this deck pretty effectively, so that's why we run a couple of those. And then Stone lineup, I don't know why I didn't go over this at first. We run 3 Magic Stone of Dark Depths, the blue-black. This is kind of a greed deck in the fact that we want to have access to all 5 colors without really having access to all 5. So we run a lot of different stones. 2 Magic Stone of Scorched Bales for the red-black, 1 Magic Stone of Heaven's Rift for white-black, a Moojdart just in case that a random moment comes out where you really would like to get that final 700 damage in for Alice. Doesn't use it all the time. I really wouldn't use it all the time. If there was a stone I was going to cut, it was probably going to be this one. But I wanted to just goof around with the deck a little bit more before that happens. And then to wrap it up, to have that kind of faux access to all 5 colors, 3 Magic Stones of Moonshade. You don't care too much about the burn and the fact that Alice can revive you, bring you back some life, and grabbing that last element that you need for whatever J-Activate cycle you're going for with Alice is pretty important, and Magic Stone of Moonshade makes that happen. So yeah, that is the deck, guys. Let me know what you thought about it. Let me know what things you would change. Love to hear that from you guys as always. Big thanks to Henry Vaughn for sending me this deck. Alice is one of those rulers that I just couldn't wrap my head around. Like, I was really struggling to try to figure out a good idea for the deck, and then he shipped me this list, and I really, really enjoy it. It's really fun, really good, like really good to play and have a lot of fun with. So yeah, go ahead and check down below for the actual official typed out list and tell me what you thought about it. And until next time, guys, this is DMO73 signing off.